Because you are a foreigner, we can't accept you.
Why don't you speak Korean?
I really hate it when people still describe me as a foreigner. Get into clubs for free when there are, for example, certain promotions or you're on the guest list or whatever.
I was just about
But
to order.
if you're
이성의
a
퀴어
foreigner,
축제 반대 국민대회에 시참회를 하고요.
이번 역은 이태원역입니다. 내리실 문은 왼쪽입니다.
This stop is Itaewon. Itaewon. The doors are on your left.
前方到站是 Itaewon. Itaewon 站。
まもなく Itaewon. Itaewon 駅です。
In a country that's still pretty conservative, like South Korea, the area of Itaewon stands out for being accepting of everyone, especially for those who feel different. We wanted to show you how special this place is for them. These are their stories.
Mi nombre es Jorge Etzar, Villacorta, Linares, pero ya sabe, para los que viven en Corea saben que es un poco difícil los nombres muy largos, pero estoy acostumbrado a que me digan Coco. Ya 14 años en Corea, 14 años que se volvieron 14 años no sé cómo, pero la idea era venir solamente 2 años y por razones, yo creo que un poco de conexión también con el tema de Asia, porque como mi bisabuela es china, siempre tuve una curiosidad por entender un poco más a los asiáticos, no en Sudamérica, sino a los asiáticos en su propia tierra. La verdad que tribu creo que llevé mi casa como que a un sistema un poco más de restaurante, pero como temática y como concepto sigue conservando su esencia de familia, ¿no? Con el tiempo siempre va un poquito de esta añoranza, este deseo, diría que sería más que todo un deseo de querer volver a sentirse en casa o de poder por un momento estar en comunidad con los demás. Entonces, pero definitivamente sin excluir a ninguna otra comunidad, por eso se llama tribu.
My name is Nursaya Almas. I'm from Kazakhstan. It's been 6 years since I've moved to Korea. I'm a student at Hankuk University of Foreign Studies and I'm majoring in Industrial Management Engineering. And right now I'm a senior and going to graduate pretty soon. I moved to Itaewon like 2 years ago, and why did I choose this area is because basically Itaewon is just the middle of Seoul, a heart of Seoul. Also, it is very much foreigner-friendly area, and I feel comfortable living here. I don't feel like people stare too much at me. I mean, I'm an Asian as well, and I don't really look like as a foreigner. So, but when you go to places, it's kind of much convenient because you're a foreigner, this is a foreigner-friendly area, and it's much cozy, and foreigner friendly. Yeah.
The first time I came to Korea actually was back in 2008. Yeah, it was a long time ago, right? So basically what happened was I was in college. A friend of mine got recruited to teach English. He told me and a bunch of our friends about it. And I was the only one that accepted the offer. I've never been comfortable being comfortable, you know what I'm saying? So I decided to make the trip over. And I was only going to stay for 1 year, but I ended up getting involved in the Korean entertainment industry. And so I transitioned to entertainment. I started doing performances, making music, DJing, throwing parties. I had a radio show for a couple years. So I went back home for a couple years, and then I came back to Korea just to do a show. And this one show just ended up opening a whole new set of doors for me. And those opportunities allowed me to create my entertainment company. That entertainment company allowed me to start creating other businesses, which led me to Hustle, where we are right now. People's home away from home. You know what I'm saying? I know that's a cliche saying, but that's literally what Hustle is. Like if you look inside, the inside looks like a big living room. You know what I'm saying? And then up here on the rooftop, like this place looks like somebody's backyard. And Hustle is definitely a community. People come in like, people know each other. They know the staff. They know me and my partner. And all we do is yell at each other and make fun of each other and stuff and play stupid games and smoke hookah and drink. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a big house. That's what it is. So it's literally like, exactly. It's like being home. Yeah.
It was 2018 first, and I decided to go to Japan, but I need to transfer to in Korea. So I said, okay, I'm in Korea. Let's see how it's look like. So I love it. That's why after that I came 2 times more, and I decided to move here. Work in Turkish bakery, which is called like Alpedo. These days it's super busy, and I'm working there as a manager. So I love it actually. I started work there around 1 year ago, and I was with my friend. She really wants to eat kebab. Kebab is like a most famous Turkish food. Yeah. So in Itaewon, everywhere is like a kebab restaurant. And we just went randomly once, and after that we ordered. Worker was teach Turkish, so we started the conversation, and he asked me about job, and I said, yeah, I'm looking actually some part-time job because it's like I don't have money. I'm a student. So he said, okay, let's do it. Like, I'm gonna give him my friend's number, and he's looking for some part-time job, part-timer for his cafe, and I started like that way.
So my stage name is Saffron Reign, and I've been in Korea 6 years. I'm 30 years old, and I'm from the U.S., San Francisco Bay Area. I actually started performing in Korea. So people are always like, oh, you're from San Francisco, you must have done drag before you came. And I'm like, no. I think the caliber of drag in San Francisco is just like so high that I don't want to say they're not welcoming to new people. I just like never thought I could do it. And I'd never heard of a drag king. Like I'd seen drag queens, but I'd never heard of a drag king. So I literally went home and like Googled like, what is a drag king? Yeah, so now I probably perform at most like 3 times a month. And I organize more shows. And I try, today's an exception, but I try to not perform at the same shows I'm organizing because it's just too much work. Yeah. I've gotten better. Like I've gotten better at like getting faster. But the makeup takes about 2 hours, and then getting into costume. Although I haven't in a while, but when I bind my titties, you have to be careful when taking that tape off, so you have to be gentle.
저는 이태원에 사는 박미자라고 해요. 30년 조금 안 됐어요. 여기는 지하철도 가깝고 사람들도 여길 이사 오면 오래오래 살아요. 시골 동네처럼 서로 알고 집집마다 서로 알아서 너무너무 좋아요. 지금 이 건물에는 6집이 살고 있는데
네.
외국인들도 많고
네.
한국 사람은 2사람 살고 있어요. 서로 마주 보면서 대화도 하고 밥도 같이 먹고 이렇게 지내니까 좋아요.
되게 친한 사이예요.
네, 친하게 지내고 있어요.
Many of our characters have dealt with some kind of discrimination, but somehow they all found Itaewon, a place where they can freely be themselves.
Yo creo que la dificultad en Corea hay que entender que esto va a ser... Yo ya con 14 años lo veo un poco complicado. Veo un poco complicado que el núcleo, el núcleo como sociedad vaya a cambiar en Corea. O sea,
son muy críticos con las... cuando no... lo que quieres hacer no encaja dentro del modelo. Y una de esas cosas es el idioma, por ejemplo, ¿no? Si tú eres una persona que no te puedes comunicar con ellos, va a ser muy difícil que puedas tener un beneficio más o poder ser más aceptado de alguna manera. Podrás vivir de alguna manera dentro de los estándares, pero honestamente siempre estarás visto como un extranjero. No podemos dar una visión de lo que no sentimos. Entonces, definitivamente la tribu siempre va a ser así. El día a día como venga. Si el día viene bonito, pues bonito. Si el día viene triste, pues triste, ¿no? Aquí hay gente que está brincando y otro que solo está sentado, pues se respeta, ¿no? O sea, vivimos así. Todo debe moverse naturalmente. Y no nos concentramos en una nacionalidad en específico.
Well, it was very hard in terms of communication because at that time I didn't really speak Korean and there wasn't that many people who could speak in English, so it was very hard to communicate with your professors, with your classmates, and just in general it was pretty hard. Since I don't really look different from Korean people, I don't really get bullied before they find out that I'm a foreigner. Once there was a situation when I was in a queue to enter some entertainment club in another area of Seoul, and everything was fine. They were letting the people in to the club, but once they saw my blue alien card, the alien registration card, they immediately told me to wait. They said something on the radio and they thought I don't speak Korean at all, so they were sorry, we don't let anyone in right now at the moment. So I was like, okay, so I stepped aside, and the moment I stepped aside, they let the Koreans behind me enter the club. At that moment, I got frustrated. I was like, is that because they found out that I'm a foreigner, that I'm holding this alien registration card that is different from other people, and that I'm not a Korean? So I come up to them, I ask them what is the problem, and of course they cannot give me a proper answer because what are they gonna say? Because you're not Korean? So they were trying to go back and forth, trying to befriend me, but at the end I just told them this is not cool what you guys doing. It's not my fault that I was born in another country. I'm just as all these people just trying to have fun and trying to enter the club and just trying to enjoy the time with my friends.
I can't even think of one particular story to tell you. I mean, it happens all the time. You can feel if somebody has microaggressions, you know what I'm saying? Oh, this black dude is sitting next to me on the subway. Let me change seats. When the taxi drivers slow down and they look at you and they're like, nah, and they speed up. You know what I'm saying? Or even when somebody when you go to a club where they playing black music and they tell you can't go into the club. How you not gonna let me in the club? Or I've had people use the N-word around me before, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So, yeah, obviously it happens. Yeah. When you create a business for people, the people end up creating the culture. Yeah. You follow what I'm saying? You just have to basically support the culture. Yeah. And it turns out that, I'm gonna put it like this, right? everything that you see in Hustle, right? We got hookahs, we got drinks, we got a bunch of stupid games, you know what I'm saying, downstairs. Like, this is all stuff I like to do. You know what I'm saying? It just so happens that there's a lot of people that are stupid like me, right? That want to do the same things I want to do. And it's always delightful to see that, you know, it's not just one type of person. Like, you always see a lot of different coming here. You see black people, Spanish people, Korean people, white people, gay people, straight people, you know what I'm saying? Like, people that just nerds, weird looking, you know what I'm saying, wear weird clothes and stuff. And I go in and I make fun of their clothes and they laugh about it. Cool, we can be friends. I think it happened because people don't have nowhere else to go. And it's kind of sad. Even Itaewon, from what I understand, from what my Korean friends have told me, Itaewon means the place of foreign birth. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so... We did the research for the documentary, so that's exactly what it means. So, you know, like, and the reason that happened is because you got, you know, at the time you had a military base that was here, and, you know, you had a lot of things going on in Itaewon, and there was a lot of, you know, mixed couples giving birth to kids in Itaewon. So it has historically racial undertones. Not racial, racist undertones. You feel what I'm saying? And so it just became a place where a lot of multicultural people had to bond, because where else you gonna go where you're not gonna get discriminated against in Korea?
Actually, my first bad experience with like a 택시 아저씨, as always, like yeah, he didn't want me to get in because I'm foreigner, yeah. And he just said, naga, naga. And he thought I cannot speak Korean, but I can speak Korean. So he was so disrespectful. As a customer, actually they are like a 99% good customers, but sometimes they can be super rude too. Like they're doing this, still so rude. Maybe it's like I can understand it's like their culture. Yeah. But sometimes they can be more gentle, you know, like as a foreigner, you know, we talk about like a culture difference and some mistakes or like, I don't know, misunderstood. But when foreigners come here, it's kind of community for foreigners. So you can talk with like another foreigner, so you can feel more comfortable. I think they're coming here, that's why. Yeah. And for Korean, and you know, they are more disciplined, so more pressed like about their life, and they just want a taste of freedom. Yeah. I think that's why they are coming here. Wow. They say, let's see what happened like a rest of the world. Yeah. Because they are coming to here to see us, to know our culture. Yeah. So they can understand what is the big difference. What is the big difference from like each other cultures? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's why.
I do mostly like foreigner organized events, and the few times I've been invited to like Korean organized events, they're like specifically queer events that, you know, I'm going to a space that I know I'm welcome in. Yeah, and like whenever I'm in drag and I go to the GS or the taxi or something, they're just kind of like, "Are you a dancer?" And yes. I'm a dancer. I know a lot of people who like travel far to come here every weekend, you know? And that was me before I moved here. It just feels, I don't know, it feels like a home, you know? Yeah, it's hard to explain. Like, even like people back home are like, "Why are you still in Korea? It's been 6. You don't even speak Korean. Like, why are you there?" And, like, you don't understand. Like, there's a real community, and it just feels, yeah. I guess home is the only word. Yeah. I get
it. 외국 사람도 환영을 많이 해요. 한국 사람이니까 한국 사람도 좋지만 외국 사람도 같이 대화하면서 지내니까 너무너무 좋아요. 여기 다른 곳과 다른 점은 여기는 모든 게 다 가까이에 있어요. 그래서 살기가 편해서 외국인도 여기를 많이 선호하는 것 같아요. 글쎄요, 여기는 이 동네에서는 그런 차별은 없어요. 왜냐하면 외국인들도 착한 사람 많으니까. 그리고 서로 도와가면서 하니까 저는 참 좋은 것 같아요. 다른 사람은 어떻게 생각할지 모르지만. 근데 요 주변에 있는 사람들은 전부 다 외국인 좋아해요.
I do pretty much feel myself happy and comfortable living in Itaewon because as I told you, the people, the area, the community, just everything, the 분위기, the atmosphere here is very cozy, safe, and very much brings me joy and happiness.
I can bet that there's been some kind of racial struggle that you've had to go through, right? And you found some kind of light, some kind of positivity, some kind of affectionate, strong connection out of some kind of darkness. You follow what I'm saying? Like when people of color got to go through struggles, we always find a way to overcome, even in the face of dark adversity.
Es un sueño cumplido. Es un sueño cumplido porque ha sido el lugar donde que me lo voy a llevar en mi corazón hasta el último aliento de mi vida.
Itaewon personally to me means home. It's where I live right now. It's where my friends are living. It's where I meet up with my friends most of the times. It's where I can feel myself as myself. This area has a lot of memories for me, and for the past 2 years I've been living here with my roommate, which I just ended up being very, very random. But this area for both of us means a lot because we are both like foreigners, we're lonely, but we found each other here and we're living here, and this area is just a home to us.
I don't think like I can get bored from here. It's always every day surprise me to see like a new people, like give new experience from all around the world. You know, not only from Koreans, all around the world. Everyone is coming here. All cultures is coming here, and I feel like I'm learning every day. So that's why I like to. No, I love to live in Itaewon.
Like no matter where is home for you, you can find things that remind you of home. So like just spaces like that. But like no matter what wherever you're coming from, whatever your identity is, there's a space for you. Yeah.
네, 중요하죠. 여러 나라 사람들이 같이 살면서 또 다른 문화를 배우게 되고 그러다 보니까 생각이 넓어진다 그럴까? 그래서 좋은 것 같아요.
I genuinely believe that anyone can live comfortably and feel safe in this area because it's not only foreigner friendly as we talk about like racial stuff, but also it is pretty much gender equality friendly. It's LGBTQ friendly because you can not only just find like delicious food or amazing music in here, but you can also find this hill where you can find a club that is for LGBTQ friendly people, so that they won't feel themselves that they don't belong here. They will feel themselves comfortable, they would feel like they belong, and they would just feel more safe. And that's another amazing part about Itaewon as an area.
When it comes to like finding connections with other people, other like-minded people, especially when it's like when you're looking for someone within your ethnic group or somebody from, maybe from your country or something like that, you're most likely to find it here in Itaewon. So that's something Itaewon is definitely good for. You can definitely build connections with other people that think and look like you.
I believe everyone has to be themselves, I hate like people in getting the same shape. It's like, we are not the same person. So we have to have like different ideas, different personalities, different types, different clothes,
Respect each other.
Yes. That's why I love it, actually.
we will always stand up to be the voice of those less seen. You might come from different places, speak different languages, have different skin color. But at the end, we all just want to belong somewhere. That's why, here in Itaewon, station number 630, being together, we can feel like home.